Hey everybody, Keegan here. Today I want to talk about the Tom Cruise freakout, so we're just going to dive into it if I could. Let me see. Here we go.
Hollywood making movies right now because of us. Because they believe in us and what we're doing. I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We are creating thousands of jobs. I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it. That's it. And you too, and you too, and you. Don't you ever do it again. That's it. No apologies. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down. It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education. That's what I sleep with every night.
Okay, so I brought this up because for one, Tom Cruise is he's always in the news for either doing his own stunts or being outspoken or having meltdowns while he's being interviewed. But he's also kind of seen as a really nice guy. So I'm sitting here kind of racking my brain, good guy, bad guy, whatever. To be honest, they made him look so bad a few years ago that I actually stopped watching his movies. I was like, he's a weirdo. I heard that when he was him and Katie Holmes were going through their pregnancy and stuff and and I'll go through some of this stuff here. But I heard that like he hooked Katie Holmes up to like a sonogram machine, if that's the right word, and he was actually like trying to listen to like the baby while she was sleeping. And I heard that the baby had birth defects because of this. And if you remember, for the first like year that their daughter Suri was born, nobody saw any pictures of her. And people were saying she was born with a cleft lip and she had to undergo plastic surgery or whatever. But there's always been some sort of like weird story, weird kind of, I don't want to say creepiness about Tom Cruise, but I distanced myself from him. And then one year, a couple years back, I was like, I'm going to watch some of these Tom Cruise movies. And I watched the Jack Reachers, Edge of Tomorrow, Tropic Thunder, all that stuff. And I actually thought those movies were all great. The Mission Impossibles kind of drifted off, and I'm going to get into the Mission Impossibles too. There's so much weird stuff with Tom Cruise, I didn't quite know exactly what to get into. So I thought, the big thing I would bring up is how that freak out video we just heard, that was recently, I think it was yesterday or the last couple of days, but they're filming a movie in London. London has very strict coronavirus mandates and rules right now. So Tom Cruise walks in, and it wasn't that these people weren't wearing masks. It wasn't that they were coughing and sneezing on each other. They were sitting within 6 feet watching a computer looking at footage they had just filmed for the new Mission Impossible. And Tom Cruise freaked out. Now, was he a bad guy for freaking out? Well, if you notice, he didn't say in his rant anything like "people are dying, you idiots" or anything like that. He said we risk losing jobs. There's thousands of jobs at risk. So he might have been trying to stick up for the little guy. And so was it a good thing or bad thing that he freaked out? I saw this morning that Paul Romano on Pockets of the Future, great podcast if you haven't checked it out before, but he was talking about how Tom Cruise has always been this, like, one of his big movies was Born on the 4th of July. He does the Mission Impossible, MI5, MI6, CIA, spy. It's like he's a diehard American hero. And what is America all about? America's all about freedom. Yet the Corona stuff comes up and he's cracking the whip on all of his cast and crew. So I think it's kind of funny, and it actually reminded me of something here, if I could. I'll exit this. A few years ago, Billy Joe Armstrong from the band Green Day was on a Southwest flight, and his pants were down. They were sagging. And here we go. I always thought this was odd, and this kind of reminded me of the Tom Cruise thing here. Billy Joe Armstrong kicked off Southwest flight over saggy pants. Now, when this happened, it was, ridiculous. I don't want to hear it. But when it happened, it was ridiculous. And then I had friends and family kind of talk to me, and they're like, dude, Billy Joe Armstrong is one of the most famous rock stars on the planet. What was he doing on a Southwest flight? And then I started thinking TSA was rolling out, and they're doing unconstitutional stuff, violating your Fourth Amendment, having to put their hands on your wife and your kids. going through the airport, going through the body scanners. And Billy Joe Armstrong gets on a plane and he's told, "Sir, you need to pull your pants up." Right? And I think he got off the flight. Billy Joe Armstrong is known for being a punk rock appearance. He or she was at the Grammy Awards with their Grammy Award winning lyrics, but it apparently that look that got the lead singer of the group Green Day booted off a South Airlines flight from Oakland, California to Burbank, California Thursday night. Just got kicked off South White flight because my pants are sagged too low, Armstrong tweeted. What the fuck? No joke. Now, I was going to get into this, but one of the things the elite does is they pick people that we hold in high standards and they go, even this person has to submit to the state. So Billy Joe Armstrong gets on an airplane and they tell him to pull his pants up. Tom Cruise makes a movie and they tell him you better be following these coronavirus procedures. So it's as if they actually choose these celebrities that are known for their stature and they make a mocking out of them. But is the celebrity in on it? Do they know they're going to be publicly lambasted? Another thing that Paul Romano brought up is that this could all just be promotion for his movie. A lot of people are going to eat up that Tom Cruise was trying to make people follow these these mandates. So this might just be promotion for his movie. So I just thought the whole thing was interesting. Then I started really thinking about Tom Cruise and check some of this stuff out here. Oh yeah, I was just going to say Tom Cruise being one of the best, stuntmen in the biz.
Whether you love him or hate him, you gotta respect his commitment.
Flying on the side of an airplane, okay, skydiving, doing all of his skydiving stunts, doing his own car chase scenes. He's doing the driving and all the Jack Reachers.
We publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to
our. Yeah, here in The Last Samurai, he almost got his head chopped off by a mechanical horse. Jack Reacher doing his own car stunts. All of his scuba dive stunts from one of the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, sometimes he almost dies in these things. He climbed up that building in Dubai. Where's that at? Look, doing his own rock climbing stunts. Sometimes no harnesses in these Mission Impossible movies. I mean, Tom Cruise has earned his stature as one of the Hollywood elite, I think. I mean, the dude's really, really tiny, yet he pulls off these stunts and these feats unlike any other action star's ever done before. Yet, he submitted to the state, to the Illuminati laws, right? You got to wear that mask, you got to social distance, and it freaked him out. I just showed you the recording of it. So then again, thinking more and more about Tom Cruise here, I was like, oh yeah, wasn't he in Eyes Wide Shut? Do you guys remember that? Eyes Wide Shut. One moment here. I'm sorry. Eyes Wide Shut was a movie that Tom Cruise was in with his ex-wife Nicole Kidman. It's an erotic mystery psychological drama film directed, produced, and co-written by Stanley Kubrick, based on the 1926 novella Trauma Novelle by Arthur Schnitzler. The movie transfers the story from early 20th century Vienna to 1990s New York City. The film follows the sexually charged adventures of Dr. Bill Harford, who is shocked when his wife Alice reveals that she had contemplated having an affair a year earlier. So in this movie, this couple gets basically bored with their rich, extravagant lives. They join a creepy orgy cult, and things start getting a little too serious for them. Now, I wanted to bring up one of the things people don't even realize about this film is the ending. They have a daughter that basically they, what's the word? They had while at one of these orgies. And at the end of the film, here we go. Just hear me out here. The Rockefeller Commission reported in 1970. This wrong thing. Sorry here. I got too many notes. I'm trying to find what was said about the ending of Eyes Wide Shut. Come on. Kubrick died 6 days after showing his final cut to Warner Brothers, making this the final film he had directed. In order to ensure a theatrical R rating in the United States, Warner Brothers digitally altered several sexually explicit scenes during post-production. This version was released on July 16th, 1999, to moderately positive reactions from film critics. So people like Stanley Kubrick's daughter, again, people think Stanley Kubrick helped NASA film the fake moon landing. So Stanley Kubrick has highly been involved with these secret society type people, supposedly. And this movie was kind of him subtly calling out and telling the world these secret societies have weird orgies. They film them in order to blackmail and do business with one another. And in the ending, the original ending of Eyes Wide Shut, upon returning home, Bill finds this Tom Cruise's character. Bill finds the rented mask on his pillow next to his sleeping wife. He breaks down in tears and tells Alice the whole truth of the past 2 days. The next morning, they go Christmas shopping with their daughter. This is the part nobody gets about the ending of Eyes Wide Shut. She wanders near two older men who had been first seen at Zellweger's party, unconcerned with their child. Bill apologizes to Alice, and Alice muses that they should be grateful that their marriage and mutual love survived. But their daughter at the end of this movie wanders off to these two men that are in trench coats, and she disappears with them. And so what the subtle ending that nobody talks about Eyes Wide Shut is that Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise's character basically had to have this child and then offer it up as a sacrifice to the creepy little orgy cult they were in. And again, Stanley Kubrick died right after this movie, right after the 6 days after he showed this movie to Warner Brothers. He died. He said the movie would be edited over my dead body. He actually fucking died. Warner Brothers takes the movies, edits a few parts out of it, releases it. Audiences don't get it. The movie just goes down the memory hole. So again, I was like, Nicole Kidman. Oh, yes, and there was some weird stuff about Nicole Kidman. And then I remembered this. Sorry this is taking me so long. I appreciate you guys being patient. Okay, it's been revealed that Nicole Kidman's relatives are some of the largest landowners in the world. The company Kidman Holdings is the 8th biggest on the planet, owning 24 million acres of land. So Nicole Kidman's family is definitely in the elite stature, right? Now her dad, I can't remember what it was her dad did, but he was famous for a bunch of stuff. Now he died, I believe, in Bangkok at a diner. And when he died, he had like a heart attack, and there was a girl with him that went into like a trance. And what people are saying is that this girl was an MK Ultra sex slave of Nicole Kidman's father, and that when he died, she didn't know her next programming, so she just went into like a catatonic kind of robot turned off state. So I'm like, so Tom Cruise, he's having this freak out about coronavirus. We're all hearing about it. Is he playing a part? Is his little, and again, the Illuminati works like a mafia of different organizations that come together as the guiding hand of society. One of these organizations is Scientology. There's some weird stuff about Scientology I'm going to get into. So when it comes to Nicole Kidman's family being the largest landowners and Tom Cruise being one of the saviors of Scientology, I start going, hey, you know what? There's a puzzle here, and I'm trying to put together the pieces. So that's why I appreciate you guys hearing me out here. One of the things I thought was interesting, so I was looking all this up this morning, was, the elite want humans to think that we are disgusting. So we're constantly hearing like we're too fat or too skinny, or we eat too, we're too spoiled. And eventually, if you hear all this stuff, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike. Like, for instance, they want humans to start eating bugs. Okay, there's plenty of food going around. Food grows right out of the ground, and people will sit here and say, well, bugs are nutritious. There's nothing wrong with bugs. But the elite aren't going to be eating bugs. If they do, it's going to be because they're into sick, twisted stuff. This is all my opinion. But as time goes on, they're going to start having humans. They're going to tell us there's a food shortage. They're going to say that cows farting causes global warming and all this stuff. And they're going to start promoting more and more. You'll see this bug farms where they want people to start eating bugs. And what I thought was really interesting is I found this Nicole Kidman eating bugs. Again, she comes from one of the richest families in the world. She does not need to eat bugs.
I am going to eat a full-course meal of bugs.
Tom Cruise, look at all those people they just showed her in the club.
Eating micro livestock.
Micro livestock. I ain't doing it. I'm not going to eat bugs. My kids ain't going to eat bugs. I'm not going to ever ask my wife to eat a bug unless she wants to. I don't care if it's the healthiest thing in the world for you. Ain't doing it.
Quite describe the flavor, but water.
What's with that laugh?
Just a little side note.
You know,
people in the world eat bugs, and I'm one of them. Just here we go.
Again, don't buy that shit for 1 second. You don't have to eat bugs, dude. When they start telling you have to, you'll know, you're going to think back to this, go, what? Robert Keegan saying they were going to try to trick us into eating bugs. Another thing I'm going to say, that is just to kind of go segue here, is the next gun debate will be about cars. They're going to start telling you soon that you can't be trusted to drive your own vehicle, and everybody's going to have to drive a smart car. But they can shut those things down. They can lock you inside of them. They can drive you someplace against your will with you locked inside of it. So the next debate will be about should we stop eating cows so much and start eating bugs? Should we stop driving ourselves around, or should we start letting smart cars drive us around? Again, all these so remember all the school shootings, and they were like, take the guns. Well, now you're seeing people drive up onto the street. We had that happen in Canada. The guy drove up on the sidewalk, hit the people. The lady in Vegas hit the 5 kids with her car. Eminem was rapping about it and stuff. They're going to start telling you, you can't be trusted. You are dirty. You aren't safe behind the wheel. You need to eat bugs to save the planet. But they're not going to eat bugs. They'll show you them eating bugs, just like Trump and Biden and Kamala Harris taking the vaccine on TV. I don't buy that for 1 second. Why would Trump need to take the vaccine? He already had coronavirus. His body's already built up antibodies and stuff to it. But they want you to see it, so you go, oh, if they did it, I'll do it. That's why Nicole Kidman's eating bugs. Okay, they want you to eat bugs. So yeah, it's all connected to Tom Cruise. Thanks for hearing me out, sticking with me here. Let's get into Scientology for a moment, because Scientology. Also, real quick, Tom Cruise is in Mission Impossible. His character in Mission Impossible is Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt is based off an actual CIA guy, E. Howard Hunt. E. Howard Hunt Jr., October 9th to January 23rd, 2007, was an American intelligence officer and author. Hunt served as an officer in the Central Intelligence Agency, particularly in the United States' involvement in the regime change in Latin America. Along with G. Gordon Liddy, Frank Sturgis, and others, Hunt was one of the Nixon administration plumbers, a team of operatives charged with identifying government sources of national security information leaks. Anyhow, E. Howard Hunt, was one of the most famous CIA operatives ever, and Tom Cruise's character is based off him. But did you know, you'll love this, did you know that E. Howard Hunt supposedly was one of the men involved with killing Kennedy? 1 second here. The Rockefeller Commission reported in 1975 that they investigated the allegation that Hunt and Sturgis, on behalf of the CIA, participated in the assassination of Kennedy. The final report of that commission stated that witnesses who testified that the derelicts bore resemblance to Hunt or Sturgis were not shown to have any qualifications in photo identification beyond that possessed by an average layman. So, anyhow, they were spotted at the scene of the crime, and they said the people that saw them weren't experts in identifying photographs or whatever. What I'm saying is, there's always been thought that Hunt was connected to the Kennedy assassination. People that investigated the Kennedy assassination were on a committee called the Warren Committee, and one of the gentlemen that served on the Warren Committee served on the 9/11 Commission report. Again, all comes back to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise plays this guy in up to 7 movies now, right? So obviously Tom Cruise likes this guy. Maybe he was kind of taken aside by the Hollywood CIA liaison, said, Tom Cruise, walk with me, talk with me. You're important. We need you to help save America, etc., etc. So again, so I wanted to bring that up about the Mission Impossible stuff. Now let's get into, when I'm talking about secret societies, right? There's multiple secret societies. You can get to the Catholic Church and the Vatican. You can get to, the Bilderberg meeting is where they all get together to meet. So you have the Bilderbergers that help put that on. Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, the CFR. All these groups want either a one world currency or a one world government. They want to centralize the power so they can help be in control, or they're help setting it up for their bosses, who are these secret society people. And at the long run, it comes down to Luciferianism. These people worship Satan, but basically when he was an angel, they think he was a good guy. Some people say, what's wrong with that? Look around. Do you really want the bad guys from the Assassin's Creed games to be running everything? Because that's basically what's going on. Anyhow, so one of these little shadowy mafia groups that are in the Illuminati is Scientology. Now, have you ever heard of Operation Snow White? Operation Snow White was a criminal conspiracy by the Church of Scientology during the 1970s to purge unfavorable records about Scientology and its founder, L. Ron Hubbard. So one of the biggest infiltrations of the United States government was by Scientology. And when they finally found this out, the reason why Scientology had invested the entire government, every agency you could think of, was they wanted to know what we thought about them, what we knew about them. That's weird. So, that is really weird. They didn't want to know what we know. They want to know what we know about them. So what are they up to? So again, I bring this up because, what does this have to do with Tom Cruise? Well, he is one of their number one dudes. Scientology loves Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise loves Scientology. Now, again, we've always heard super weird things about Scientology. That they believe that alien souls are the spirits of the planet, and they believe in they come from this planet Xenu or whatever. There's a South Park episode about it, and I won't even get into. I mean, I got so much stuff I need to be looking into. I don't have time to dig into Scientology, except I know that they creep me out and that they are one of these shadowy organizations. All you got to do is look at their building in Los Angeles. They keep members like prisoners almost. And again, one of the things they do is the same thing Jeffrey Epstein does. You come in, you take their little test, you tell them all your secrets, and then they basically use those secrets against you as blackmail. Jeffrey Epstein would have people come out to his party island. He'd party with them, maybe drug them, maybe get them to willingly do terrible, terrible things. He'd film it and then say, hey, we can do business for life. Your life will be set in the shade. But if you ever tell anybody what we're up to here, this little film of you banging a 17-year-old girl will come out. Scientology, what they do is they're all like, hey, I sure would hate to tell your family member that super dark secret you got that you told us about. Yeah, that's right. Anyhow, sign over your house and your mortgage and your bank papers and all this stuff, and everything will be fine. We'll set you up. You'll be made in the shade. Now, how do they get celebrities to go along with it? Well, celebrities that have been in movies, there's only a few things they can do to feel special down the road. If they've already won Oscars and played Superman or do whatever, right? There's only a few more thrills they can get. So one of the things the government does, they come up and they tap and go, hey, a celebrity, we're at war right now. We want you to kind of be a spy. You get into all these parties and meet all these people. We want you to help work for Big Brother, right? And these celebrities go, oh, I'm doing a public service. I feel good about myself. This is great. Another thing celebrities do is they start bands and they start playing guitar, and because the thrill of being a rock star is one of the only things that celebrities haven't been able to quite grasp. They might be able to play a rock star in a movie, but can you pull it off on stage? So celebrities have a secret desire to be more fulfilled, because in the long run, think about it, you're playing a fake person, right? And people are like, oh, you're so good at being fake, and they want to feel real about something. So along comes Scientology, right? Now in the 80s, do you guys remember the show Ancient Aliens, or have you ever seen the show Ancient Aliens? Every time you watch that show, there's some crazy new fascinating fact about how they built the pyramids, or how there's giant monolithic stones that weigh several tons that fit into each other with the precision of like a laser beam had to cut them to get them to fit in so good. So I think personally, from what I've read and what I've studied, is that back in the 80s, Scientology basically tapped certain celebrities and said, hey, check this out. And they walk them into a room and they show them footage of the pyramids, or they show them footage of the Easter Island heads, and they basically say, how'd they build that? And the celebrity's like, I don't know. I mean, they get logs and roll these stones 150 miles on logs? And they're like, no, dummy, aliens. And they start showing them basically episodes of Ancient Aliens years and years ago, before that show existed. But they start showing them, hey, you see what we're saying? Aliens came here a long time ago. We could get into are aliens really angels and demons tricking us and all that stuff. I'll save that for another show. But these celebrities were basically told in the 80s that aliens built the pyramids and actually helped steer society. And then they say, and we're the guardians of this knowledge, and we believe that you are a special person, Tom Cruise or Will Smith or John Travolta or Christy Alley, and check all this stuff out. And so people are going to hear about this. People are going to hear you're a Scientologist. They're going to call you crazy, but you know what? We'll help you. We'll keep helping fund your movies. We'll keep helping promote you in a good light. And people are going to smear your name in the mud. But you know what, Tom Cruise? You're a freaking superstar. You're a freaking prophet of these angels and Xenu and all this stuff. And Tom Cruise is like, oh, this is the one thing in my life I can't really, you can't get past. I'm an alien prophet. And so that's what they did to Tom Cruise. But even Tom Cruise is bowing down to the coronavirus mandates. And again, was he doing it to help save jobs? Or was he doing it because he's scared of the virus? Or was he doing it because he was told to by his masters? Anyhow, I'm Keegan, and in the meantime, don't roll your eyes at me.